A warm greeting. Today is Friday, June 27, 2025. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia speaking. At the time of recording this video, it is 5 a.m. in Belize, where we are closely watching the evolution of a low-pressure system located to the north of Honduras, which will be moving over parts of Belize and the southern Yucatan Peninsula. Over the weekend, when it reaches the southern Gulf of Mexico or the Bay of Campeche, it may encounter marginally favorable conditions for cyclonic development. So, in this video we'll discuss the latest model projections and how much rain it may bring to Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, and parts of Veracruz. On the other hand, remember that we are also closely monitoring Invest 95, which is projected to become Tropical Storm Flossie during this weekend. If you want to know more details about this disturbance and how it could affect the southwestern coast of Mexico, I invite you to watch a video I recorded last night giving specifics of this forecast. If we return to the Western Caribbean region, it is evident that we have a fairly intense area of convection that has developed to the north and northeast of Honduras. It is associated with a low-pressure system located just east of Belize. Last night, the National Hurricane Center highlighted the Bay of Campeche area with a low probability of cyclonic development related to this low-pressure system, indicating there is a 10% chance of development within the next 48 hours and up to a 20% chance within the next 7 days. And although at the moment no significant impacts are anticipated for Veracruz or Tamaulipas, it is still important for coastal areas to stay alert to the evolution of this low pressure. At least the good news is that, for now, the projections from global models show a low pressure system that, although it may strengthen over the weekend, it appears it will not have enough time to undergo significant strengthening before moving over Veracruz or Tamaulipas. Let's look at what the projections of the various global models show. Let's start with the American model. During Saturday night and early Sunday morning, it shows the low pressure moving toward Veracruz. In this case, it does not develop into a tropical cyclone. Likewise, we see the same in the projection from the European model. During Saturday night and early Sunday morning, a more defined low pressure is seen in the Bay of Campeche, also moving toward northern Veracruz or southern Tamaulipas, without achieving cyclonic development. We see exactly the same in the projection from the German model, which keeps the low pressure slightly farther south without developing into a tropical depression. We also have the projection from the UK model, which shows a low pressure just north of Tabasco and Veracruz. In this case, the UK model perhaps shows a tropical depression, although again, most models keep it as a low pressure system without enough time over water to strengthen into a tropical cyclone. For this reason, I believe the National Hurricane Center will maintain the development probability at 20% in its next tropical outlook. I will remain attentive, because historically, the geographic curvature of the Bay of Campeche region can help some disturbances organize cyclonically a bit faster than projected. However, once again, I emphasize that the probabilities of development are low. For example, take a look at the ensemble members of the American model, where although some of them develop a defined low pressure, none of them develop it into a tropical cyclone before reaching southern or central Veracruz. On the other hand, some members of the European model, particularly those with a more northern trajectory, allow the low pressure to remain over water longer, and if this less likely scenario occurs, then development probabilities could increase. You can see that some members have a tropical depression or tropical storm developing by early next week. But again, these scenarios are in case it takes a more northern trajectory and moves toward Tamaulipas. Even so, they keep it fairly weak. In the case of the ensemble members of Google's AI model, we can see that those members that follow a more northern trajectory, some of them do manage to develop a tropical depression if it moves toward parts of Tamaulipas. So remember, the most likely scenario is that it continues on a more southern trajectory toward Veracruz. In that case, it seems it won't have enough time over the waters of the Gulf of Mexico to develop into a tropical cyclone. However, in another less likely scenario, if it maintains a more northern trajectory, then it may have better chances of possibly forming into a tropical depression or tropical storm before reaching northern Veracruz or southern Tamaulipas. What's important is that, for now, there is no reason to worry. This will be a rain event for areas in the eastern Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and coastal regions of Veracruz and Tamaulipas. Models project that in the state of Quintana Roo and over Belize, between 50 to 75 millimeters of rain could accumulate over the next 48 hours, while parts of Veracruz could receive between 75 to 100 millimeters. Apart from the rain, wind or wave-related effects for the moment should be minimal. So I simply invite you to stay alert in case there are any changes to the forecast. In fact, if a tropical storm eventually forms, it would be named Tropical Storm Barry. Well, with that I say goodbye. But before that I wanted to invite you to give this video a like or thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notifications when I record new videos. I hope everyone has an excellent weekend. See you later.